Hey guys, Mr. Wilson here. Today we're going to talk about solving inequalities. At the end of this video, you should be able to solve inequalities and you should be able to show all solutions to the inequalities. Recall from last lesson that inequalities have infinitely many solutions. I'll say IMS. Okay. Therefore, to show all the solutions, we have to graph the inequality. Remember, when we are solving inequalities, we are finding the boundary between the solutions and the other numbers. Let's say that. In other words, the numbers we find are after solving is the number that separates the solution from the non-solutions. This number is sometimes a solution. Only sometimes, because remember we have different inequalities, and some of the inequalities include that number like with or equal to, but some of them say it has to be greater than, so it makes it not a solution. Okay, and we'll see that as we go through here. So our first problem, we have x plus 6 is less than 2. We're going to solve this with the same reasoning. Remember, we're going to use inverse operations. We're going to ask ourselves, what are we trying to get by itself? What's stopping it from being by itself? What operation is it doing? What's the inverse operation? So the same line of questioning we use with equations. So x plus 6 is less than 2. We want to get x by itself. We'll subtract 6 from both sides. And so we'll have x is less than negative 4. Alright, from there we have our number line, have negative 4. Less than means it'll be an open circle going to the left where numbers are less than that. Remember, if you'd like to, you can help yourself out. If you feel confused about which direction the arrow goes, you can help yourself out by plotting the 0 on the graph. Typically, that would be a good number for you to see or to easily find. Is it going to be less than or greater than the number that we're dealing with? And then you want to draw your arrow to the way that makes sense based on your inequality. Okay, number 2. Again, trying to get x by itself. What's stopping x? The 8. What is 8 doing? It's multiplying, so how do we get rid of it? We divide. So we divide both sides by 8. We'll have x is greater than or equal to negative 5. Negative 5 here. It's or equal to now, so I'm going to have a closed circle because negative 5 is a part of my solution set. And then I'm going to go to the numbers that are greater than negative 5. Okay. Alright, especially dealing with the negative numbers. Again, I use money because it's easiest for me to grasp. But it says, would I rather have negative $5 or $0? So I'd rather have more money. Okay, negative 5 would seem like I'm owing somebody money. Okay, so that might be helpful as you're looking at these inequalities. Alright, let's look at number 3. Number 3, we have negative 2x is less than or equal to 14. Now this is where a difference comes between inequalities and equations. I want to get x by itself, so I'm going to divide both sides by negative 2. And when I do that, I'll get x is greater than or equal to negative 7. Notice here that our signs flip. Okay, I'm going to spend a little bit of time explaining why it flips, and then we'll go through some more here. Alright, so follow me over here. If we have an inequality, let's say 3 is less than 9. Okay, 3 is less than 9. That is a true statement. 3 is less than 9. Okay, if we multiply both sides by a negative number, and in this case I'm just going to multiply by negative 1. When we multiply both sides by a negative number, we'll have negative 3 to the left side and negative 9 to the right side. And then we have to ask ourselves, which one is bigger? Which one is greater? And you'll notice here, if you do the money thing, negative 3 is bigger. I'd rather be negative $3 or have negative $3 than have negative $9. So what happened to make this sign flip? We'll talk about that in a little bit. Alright, let's graph this problem. Got negative 7, closed circle at negative 7. Greater than negative 7, that means I'm going towards 0. It's a negative number. Okay, and so there we have it. Alright, so when does the sign flip? The sign flips when you multiply or divide both sides by a negative number. It does not matter if the answer is negative. Okay. So notice over here, for these first two problems, we didn't have to worry about flipping the sign at all. The answer was negative both times here. The only reason we flipped the sign for number 3 is because we divided both sides by a negative 2. Okay, so whenever you multiply or divide by a negative number, you have to flip the sign. Okay, and the reasoning is here if you want to rewind and listen to that part while I was writing again. Okay, let's look at number 4. Let's solve these. Alright, so again, we're trying to get x by itself. I'm going to add 7 to both sides. 8x. Okay, and again, my final answer, I want to put the variable first. That way, that's because I'm graphing the variable. And then remember that the alligator will follow the bigger number wherever it goes. So here, it'll follow the 8. So I should open it up so that it's trying to eat the 8. Alright, and so now I'm ready to graph less than 8. Less than means open circle, going to the left here. Okay, because that was where 0 would be in that case. Okay. Okay, number 5, let's do this together. I'm going to subtract 8 from both sides here. So I have negative x over 3 is greater than or equal to negative 6. And then I'm going to multiply both sides by negative 3. Okay, and what that will do is it will cancel out the negative on this side, so I'll be left with x. On this side, I'll be left with 18. And because I multiply by a negative number, I want to make sure that I flip the sign. And that leaves me with the x is less than or equal to 18. 18 here, I'll put 0 here, close circle, going towards 0. Numbers that are less than. Alright, try number 6 for me, bring that into class, complete it. Flip it to the back side, a few more problems here. Okay, these are a little bit more difficult, but really they're still just solving problems, so you should be able to do this without a whole lot of fuss. Okay, so we're solving for x. Our first step for number 7 will be to get rid of this fraction, multiply both sides by 6, and so we'll get 5x plus 12 is greater than 42. From there, I'll subtract 12 from both sides. 5x will be greater than 30. And then I want to get x all the way by itself, so I'll divide both sides by 5. And that gives me x is greater than 6. Alright? 6 greater than 6, open circle, going to the right. Alright? Number 8, we are going to first, I'll first subtract 5 from both sides. You could distribute first. I really kind of feel like sometimes that's a bad option. Like in this case, I would think that was a bad option. You could do it though and get the right answer. But here's why. Distribution is just multiplication. If we multiply, then we'll have to divide again later because we multiplied. So We want to get rid of this negative 2. What's this negative 2 going to be doing? It's going to be multiplying. So how do I get rid of it? Divide both sides by negative 2. And so now I'll have x minus 10 on this side. I'll have negative 4 on the other side. I just divide it by a negative number, so now I have to flip the sign. And to get x all the way by itself, I'll add 10 to both sides. And so now I have x is less than or equal to 6. Okay. Graph that, bring that in. Graphed. Shouldn't be too hard. Alright. Number 9. Now for number 9, I will want to distribute that 2/3. And the reason is I see that there's an x inside here. Okay, there's an x inside, and so I want to there's an x inside and outside, and I want to combine these two. So I want to distribute this 2/3 to the side first. That'll give me 18 over 3, which is 6x, minus 30 over 3, which will be 10, plus x. Alright. Okay, and so now I'm going to combine my like terms. I have 6x and x, so that gives me 7x minus 10 on this side, 4 on that side, and I'm going to add 10 to both sides. So now I have 14 is less than or equal to 7x. To get x all the way by itself, I'm going to divide by 7 on both sides. I'll write this up here so it doesn't get in my way too much. So I have 2 less than or equal to x. Alright, when I write my inequality, I will want to make sure that I put my x first. So I'm going to graph this how it should be. It'll be a closed circle at 2, going this way. Write our final inequality with x leading. So make sure you have x leading. Write the rest of this inequality. Make sure that we're paying attention here and understand how to make the crocodile follow the big number. Alright, then final question. I'm going to leave this for you guys to do. Okay, do the whole thing. Okay, bring it in, we'll look at it tomorrow. Alright guys, have a good one.